So now we have all our artifacts ready and created in Bonita Studio. We create everything from the process model to the user interface, business data model, application all together. So now it's time to deploy this in production. So the first step, of course, is to set up this production server. You usually want to install Bonita using one of the bundles we provide. We provide Bonita bundle with Apache Tomcat or JBoss Wildfly, but you can also use the Docker image of Bonita to set up quickly a Bonita server. So once your server is ready, you will need to deploy the various artifacts you create in Bonita Studio. First one is probably the process, so deployment of the process definition and its dependencies. But before doing that, actually, we'll need to deploy the BDM, the business data model, because it's required for our process to be executed to have this BDM available. And maybe, again, before that one, you probably want to have your user on the platform, your user account created. So you'll need to have an organization deployed on your server. And once we do all that, we will see the next step. The major step is for the application deployment. So let's do each step one by one. So if you are in your studio here and you take a look, for example, at the organization, you can do a right click and choose export here. Deploy will deploy the organization in the test environment embedded in the studio. So we don't want to use that. We want to export the organization. And this export is more a kind of build operation. It will create a file for us that is ready for deployment. So here I will create that. I already did it, so it will ask me to override it. Okay. And now I can go to my platform. So here I'm no longer using the Bonita installation embedded in my studio. I'm on a remote computer here, and I will log in with a technical user that is an administrator of the platform, so administrator of the tenant here. And you see I already have an organization here, but just for the purpose of the demo, I will deploy again the organization. So I can go in this organization menu, import and export, and here I can import the organization I export from the studio. Just click here, select my Acme organization, and confirm. Then I click on the import button and I can see it's import successfully all my users. So now I have my organization ready. So if I log out here, I can log in back with my user Walter Bates and password BPM. Okay, so that was the first step. Next one is to get our business data model deployed. So same thing apply here. I do right click, click on export, and this will build for me a bdm.zip file that I will be able to deploy. So to deploy the BDM, I need again to go on my portal here, but I will not use the administration view here. I cannot deploy with this administrator profile. I need again to use this specific account install here. That is the administration of the platform, and I can go in BPM service first because I will need to pause the engine in order to deploy the BDM. So I'll click on this button, put the service on hold, go to BDM, and here I can click on this install button and upload the bdm.zip file and click on install. Now my BDM is installed. I can resume the engine. Okay, so that's one more done. Let's move to the next one. So next one will be our process. Process will embed our forms here. I have my leave request process that have the start form where the user fill up the leave request, and the second form where the manager of the user validate or reject the vacation request. So by deploying this process, I will automatically deploy the forms, and I will automatically deploy as well the connector used in the form and the dependencies. So you can see here my connector, my process of several dependencies, including, for example, this mail library. So this will be automatically deployed with the process. So again, I'm doing right click here, and I will select build here and select my unique process defined in this diagram. So this will actually create what we call a bar file. We use a bar extension for that one. And this time I will use the Walter Bates account, and Walter Bates have sufficient privilege as an administrator to deploy a process. So in BPM menu, we'll go to process, install, click here to pick up the bar file I just created right now. Then open, validate. You can see that this process is automatically enabled because it has all the proper libraries for the connectors, the correct BDM definition deployed, everything is set, so the process can already be used, and we can start new cases of this process. But we didn't deploy all the artifacts so far. We didn't deploy our application. It's the last one that left. But before deploying the application, we need to deploy the pages. So here, I will need to open the pages in the UI designer and click on this export button to create the artifact needed for deployment. So this will go in my download folder, and now I can go back to my platform. Sorry, here. Under resources, click on the add button and select the file that I just created. So I upload the page, and now that the page is ready, this time I can deploy the application. So for my application that is inside my Bonita Studio, I will do again the same thing. I will export it, right click export, save it. And now if I go in the Bonita portal in application, I can click on the import button, and I can go and pick up my application definition. And that's it. Everything is now deployed. If I click on the application, you can see that the application is loaded. I can create a new vacation request, and the application is fully functional. So that's it for the sequence for deployment. So just a sum up for process deployment and the application deployment. So for process in the studio, you need to deal with the configuration. I didn't highlight that, but when you are on process, make sure that the configuration you can get here is valid for production, especially if you're using parameters, for example, some for connectors. Make sure that you have the value for the production environment. And then you can do this right click, build, and the generated file will embed the proper configuration. And then you go in the portal, and in the administration view, you can upload the bar file. You can also do extra configuration if needed, and you can also enable the process. You can do this in two different stages. Here, for example, my process right now is disabled actually. If I go here in more, I can enable it. And now I can really start actually some new instance of this process. For application, you need, as I show you, to export it from the UI designer of the pages of the application. From Bonita portal, you need, or from the studio, you need to export the application itself. Then, as an administrator, import the pages using the Bonita portal, and then after that, import the application. So that's it for the overview of the deployment. You can check the last exercise to create this kind of application, and you can check out also, of course, other examples available on Bonitasoft community website. Thank you for watching BonitaCamp video series. So if you have any question, please post them on Bonitasoft community website, so on community.bonitasoft.com. You can post your question there and get some help from the community, but also from people working at Bonitasoft. Of course, documentation is always a good place to start learning about the Bonita solution. If you are interested in some commercial feature of the Enterprise Edition, please use the Contact Us form available on corporate website. And if you are interested in Bonita source code, you can check this out on github.com/bonitasoft. Thank you.